Welcome back to ManCave Garage Workshop. Today I want to show you the full, completed, ultimate ManCave Garage Workbench. So let's take a look. I'll show you all the features and why you should build this workbench. Okay, let's start on the top of the table. So the first thing you'll see is T-tracks. These T-tracks run the full length in both directions. So you've got two full 8-foot runs on this side of the table, and you've got 3 4-foot runs going up the width of the table. The two runs down here, these run across, so you have the downdraft table for the sanding, so you can lock stuff down on 3 sides of the downdraft table. On this side of the table, you've got 2 slots for your router fence, so if you're going to build this, make sure these are wide enough to hold your fence. In this case, these are about 28 inches wide. You've got tracks running across here too, so you can lock stuff down around the table. If you want to do a circle cut with the router, you can do that by positioning the holding spot in any point around this fence. We've got a Rockler router lift here. This is a great lift. I do recommend, if you want to do a router inside the table, you should get a lift. It makes your life so much easier, so recommend doing this. You'll notice to the left of the router lift, we have a slot. This slot is used for downdraft. So when you're using the router and you're running across the lift and you have a board that's pushing all of the dust, which if you used a router table before, you'll know what I'm talking about. So what this will do, it'll suck all of that extra dust down through the table and into your dust collector, which we'll talk about here in a minute. So to finish off the top of the bench, you've got a downdraft table for sanding. This is great for sanding small pieces where you can get the dust down into the table and into the dust collector. So this top also comes off. So this way you can clean it out. If something happens to drop in and get caught in this area, you can lift that off and get it out. You can also use that to replace that piece if you want to either create smaller holes or larger holes. So for example, you could create a separate section for using it as a dog hole bench. So there's various things you can do with this. So I'm looking forward to seeing some creativity. Okay, here in the front of the workbench, we have a ton of drawers. So here you can see there's 4 drawers, 2 by 2. These drawers on this side are 12 inches deep by 18 inches wide. You've got 2 drawers that are 4 inches deep in this direction. You've got 1 drawer that's 5.5 inches deep, and you've got 1 drawer that's 7.5 inches deep. So a lot of variety on both of these racks. On this side, you've got the top 2 drawers are 18 inches deep. So you've got a lot of space in this drawer and in this drawer. These 2 drawers, these are 12 inches. So you've only got 2 really deep drawers that go the full length of the half of the bench. Moving further down the bench, you've got a door where you can store various things into here. I'm storing my dust collection parts in this area. You've also got a 2.5-inch dust collecting port right here, glass gate included. And then here you've got 2 outlets. One side is live, and one side is hooked to the dust collector. So it's really nice to be able to have the full bench where various outlets can drive the dust collection. Over here, we've got 2 more drawers in the bottom. This is a 4-inch drawer. This is a 7.5-inch drawer. So these are both 12 inches deep as well. Finally, this drawer here, this is going to be used for my router bits. This piece comes out, so you can see I haven't set it up yet for my bits, but I'm going to drill my holes in here to hold all of my router bits. That's coming soon. And then you got more storage beneath it. This whole thing is my my router lift handle so I can easily get to it, as well as pieces for my fence. And then finally, we've got our router section. So this is our router insert. Put in the button here, so you got a quick start button and a paddle off. Very nice to use for the router fence. As well, you can access the router through this door. Here's a closer look at the router section. Again, here's your paddle switch. It goes into the door. So this door opens up. You've got a section here for your router. You can see you've got a dust collection in the back, and then you've got the downdraft coming through here. So all of the suction, when you're on the router, will come out and go through that hole. Okay, so moving over to the right side of the bench, you've got a manifold here for your dust collection. So this is a dust collection port. Slide up and down. So I have 3 ports here. The bottom port goes to the other side of the table. It has a 4-inch on the other side with 2.5. They both have blast gates. There's also one on the front that I already showed you that has the 2.5-inch blast gate. That all is driven by this port here. So I just slide this down to that port. You hook up dust collection to this port, this tool selector's port, and then that'll drive those 3 ports on the other side of the table. Now, if I slide up to this section, this is the router section. This will drive the router This will drive the router section, like I showed you in the front of the table. So that downdraft from the top, and then the router box, that all comes through here. There's also a split that takes it over to the other side of the table, where you have another 2.5-inch blast gate that'll hook up to the router fence. So you've got 3 areas that will suck in from this one port. Now, if I slide it up here, this will drive the standing downdraft table that's on the top that I showed you. So you've got 3 choices here. You don't have to rehook up everything. You hook up your dust collection system here one time and slide it depending on which tool you want to use. As well, you've got 2 more outlet plugs. So actually 4 plugs, 2 boxes. One side here, this will drive the dust collection system when the power is applied. This side is live, so again, you have choices here where you can use either the dust collection or just use it without the dust collection. Down here on the bottom, these are the 2 plugs that go out to your outlets. So the left side, this is hooked up to the dust collection, so this will hit your auto switch. So you've got an auto switch for your dust collection, which will drive everything I said earlier. You hook it up to this one. On this side, this will be your live. So you have 2 plugs that will drive the bench. Okay, on the left side of the bench, we've got 3 blast gates. This is a 4-inch and 2 2.5-inch. These 2 gates are hooked up to the same port on the other side. I hook up my table saw to these 2. So you've got my downdraft from the table saw hooked up to the 4-inch, and I've got my connection in the back of the saw hooked up to the 2.5. Okay, again, we've got your dual outlets. So one side live, one side for the dust collection. On the top, you see this little door? That's for my router fence. So one of the things I did when building this bench is I was thinking about how do I store that fence. It's a long, big fence, so I've got it in here. I stick out. And there you go. Finally, I've installed doors on the back of the workbench so I can access any insides that I need to. This is handy if, for example, something got stuck in the dust collection system where I had to come in and unhook it to get it out. So here you can see all the dust collection going through the bench. And of course, the router fence storage in the back of the drawers. It's also nice to have this enclosed so critters aren't crawling around inside my bench. One of the things I love about this bench is its size. It's 4 foot by 8 foot, as I mentioned before. I also love that it's on wheels, so I can roll it around anywhere I need it in the garage. It is heavy, so it's not just going to go rolling anywhere. And if the casters, like I got, you can lock those casters down. And the bench isn't going anywhere. So I did make this bench so I could fold it up and put it against the wall. So in order to do that and have it stable while I'm rolling around the garage, while it's open, I put in these locks. So in order to get these out, I just use a hex bolt. So now, once that bolt is out, I can now push this in really easily and fold it in. I'll do that on the other side, and then we'll fold it down. Okay, finally, to fold it down, we just have to release these shelf brackets. These are 20-inch folding shelf brackets that I bought. There are 3 of them to keep it stable so it doesn't warp when it is unfolded. And I got heavy stuff sitting on the bench. You don't want that to warp. So for that reason, I've got 3 of those shelf brackets. Okay, so now with it folded up, it's still got a nice size workspace, so I still got 8 foot of working area by 2 foot. This is about 29.5 inches wide, or deep, I should say, so it will get through a doorway. So if you're trying to decide if this will get in and out of the house, it can. So with that, I'm going to roll this back into the corner where to keep it, so you can see back here, that's where I'm going to keep it going forward. It'll still allow me to keep it against the wall, access the drawers, and still use it as a workbench without actually having to pull it out. Really only have to pull it out if I need that extra 2 feet. So there you have it. Fits nicely back there. I can still access it, get the cars in the garage. See, it fits behind the kayak trailer without much ado, and I can still get in there, get to the drawers. I can even use it for a routing table or sanding or whatever I need without actually having to move it out. If you like the workbench and you're interested in building it yourself, I do have an instruction manual that I did use to build the workbench. So I spent months working on the design, finally came up with the plans, and then I started building. So if you're interested, these plans are available in the links below. You can find me on most social media, including Instagram, Etsy, and my website, ManCaveGarageWorkshop.com. Check us out. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you next time with our next project. Also, if you are interested in building this and you do get the plans, there are going to be videos available that will step you through the steps in the plan so you have something to look at and guide you along the way. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.